Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of Hamilton Icons. I am your host and local real estate agent, Justin Little. We are joined by Joshua Colby from Timberwood Designs. You are the co-owner with your wife, right, Josh?
With my wife, yes.
With your wife, yeah. And you're the self-proclaimed king of nursery decor.
I don't know if I said that or you said that, but we do nursery decor.
That's
I'm somewhere in the royal family. I don't know if it's a king.
somewhere in there. Your wife will be like, "You're the Juster."
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting, honestly.
Yeah, this is your first foray into podcasts.
Yep.
What I understand.
Yep.
That's good. So you came on, hopefully one that's not too intimidating, and we're gonna make it lots of fun. But I do appreciate you taking the time to come out.
Thank you so much.
So do you want to talk a little bit about your company and what it is, and then maybe how you got into it?
Sure. We do nursery decor, so mainly solid hardwood children's name signs for behind their crib, wall decor, shelving, solid hardwood wooden blocks, rattles, anything baby nursery related, custom. That's more kind of what we do. It started. So we asked, how do we start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My wife wanted to stop buying plastic toys for the kids. So we bought a small desktop CNC machine, and I just started making little wooden blocks. And from there, an influencer, I think in Western Ontario, reached out and said, "Hey, the company I was going to use for my name sign fell through. Are you guys able to make this?" My wife said, "Yeah." So there was a lot of aggressive YouTubing on how to create something like that and how to learn how to use the CNC in a different way. And from there, we sent it. She posted it and started the business.
Wow. So the way she found you guys, I guess she knew you guys beforehand, or how did that connection happen?
We were following, and then she kind of put out maybe a broad message, and then had some people say, and my wife said, "We're starting to look into getting into this, and my husband does this at night for the kids, makes some stuff out of wood. Would you like that?" And then we went for it.
And that's it,
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool that it started as something, and I think that's sometimes where you get the root of the best businesses. You started doing it because you wanted to do it for your kids. It was something fun to do, and I'm sure your wife had some pressure too to say, "We need, like, I'd love this stuff for the kids. Can you do it?"
I get signed up for quite a few things, quite a few things, but I like that. And from what I was doing before, it was not that much of a leap to get into. I mean, I was always contractor. I was doing hardwood flooring for 10 years, had a business, working for 30 different developers doing new construction flooring. And even when we started for the first year, while I was doing this in my garage, I was doing that all day. And then this business put the kids to bed, and then from 8 p.m. till midnight every night for the first year, still in our garage at home. So I guess when you can do something like that for 4 hours at night till midnight every night, it's probably something you should do all day, because I've never had a bad day doing what I'm doing now.
That's phenomenal, and it definitely, for you to work all day and do flooring, which is probably one of the hardest contracting jobs that's out there, just in terms of physical labor.
Yeah.
You're on your knees, your back all day, carrying flooring. Like, it's a hard job.
People are always literally and figuratively walking all over you in new construction, especially. But yeah, so that kind of paid the bills. And then at night, I was able to be creative, do this. And I mean, when I started watching the machine run for the first few months, I said, wow, I like it. I'm still using tools. I had experience with solid hardwood, and that's what we transition. That's what we make our names and all our products out of. So it's been okay. And then, but I mean, after a year of that and realizing, hey, if I keep doing flooring, I'm probably not going to be able to play with my kids as much in a few years, back and knees and everything like that. And obviously that's more important than that job that I didn't love. So
I think that's a thing that a lot of people miss with contractors. When people think, okay, contractors sometimes think they're expensive, but they don't realize the wear and tear that you're giving, like you're giving up years and mobility in your life in order to do your trade. right? And that's a tough thing to factor in. And I think people have a hard time understanding that.
100%. I mean, anyone can YouTube a video and do it. You're paying because I or someone else has done it for 10 years and we can do it faster, better. Um, our bodies are kind of accustomed to that type of work and it won't affect us as much. I mean, you could do it and then you'll be laying in bed for a few weeks. But um, yeah, it was a tough job, but it was, I mean, it was okay for the time.
Yeah, I see. And you know what? Yeah, even if you YouTube it, I find you won't do it as well as yourself. And
No, there are tricks and things you need to learn. And like with everything, that's why any tradesperson is just, I like to watch any trade do whatever they're doing if they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
like art, honestly, it's like a master of the craft. You see some of the stuff that people can pull off. And I'm definitely one of those guys you talk about, watch it on YouTube. Usually if I'm thinking I can do something, it involves several YouTube videos and like at least 6 or 7 trips to Home Depot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. With most things, it's having the right tools and having the right amount of confidence. And then I'm pretty sure you're capable of, and that's what really this business is. We taught ourselves how to design and work a CNC machine. I didn't go to school for that. And it was,
What is a CNC machine?
CNC is basically your programming using a computer to program, using vectors and take an image and telling the machine to follow the contours of what your design is. And you're programming it, machine's going to read what you're designing and then cut it out or router it or whatever application it's tons of applications. But so the design is one thing to learn, and then also, I mean, a million things of how to actually use the scenes. We bought it before we knew how to use it. And within a year, it was too small, and then we bought 2 bigger ones. And then when we moved into our shop, everything is a learning curve. But when people order something and you promise you have to deliver, and there's kind of a timeline of how quickly you have to learn how to use it. So
Yeah, and it's I mean, so when you got the first CNC machine, it was just you wanted to do just some fun like home-based projects for the kids. It's
yeah.
kind of how it started.
So my kids are 6 and 8 now. So we've been doing this for 4 years. So they were playing with a ton of plastic blocks and stuff like that. And it was probably at the beginning of that nasty pandemic time or whatever we're going through. So trying to get all the crap out of our house and stop buying whatever that, I mean, especially with hardwood. For 10 years, I was cutting and breathing in dust of God knows what from God knows where. So we want to get away from that, got rid of the plastic stuff, and just, you can make anything out of wood that they really needed as far as building blocks and things like that. So just kind of progressing like that. I said that influencer kind of shot us in a different direction where we saw I mean, we didn't invent wall art or name signs, but we are one of the very few that use solid hardwood to do it. It takes longer, it's more expensive, but you need to find something different that no one else is doing in a world of Amazon and Temu's.
Who knows? Yeah, Temu.
Yeah.
And it's cool to get into, right? And one thing that I think is incredible about your business is that you do have pretty much a global audience, which is pretty cool about it. Like, do you find, obviously you said this is an influencer out west, where are most of your transactions? Are they in Canada? Do you have a lot of people?
It's a funny time right now, kind of a transition, but for the first 3.5 years, up until all the stuff that's been going on now, but we've been close to just over 90% US sales. We've shipped to, I don't know, 10 different countries, but there are periods. It's, if an influencer approaches us or we reach out to them and they're pregnant and we ask if they like anything, and send it to them. If they're in Australia, that's where the sales are going to be for the next few months, or a lot in obviously California, Florida, New York. But as far as just kind of organic sales, 90% US over the past few months. which is great. We're probably closer to 70-30, maybe 30% Canadian sales now, which is amazing that we're kind of all supporting Canadian businesses. Obviously nothing against the American market. We love them. They started us. They've allowed me to do this full time, and they've basically built our business. So we're lucky and grateful for them.
That's amazing. I get what you're saying right now because it's a tough time, right? You want to be careful.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, but that's your business model. You're a worldwide company, right? And so you mentioned something that, you know what, this is really cool marketing. You actually, so I guess, do you reach out to influencers and then say, hey, this is what we do? Like, can we send you, basically, you're sending
Yep.
a product and then
Yeah.
they share
Well,
it with your
the first one that kind of, I guess, let us level up. It was someone in the entertainment industry, and her designer reached out to us in California and said, "My client's pregnant. I'm designing her nursery. Can you send it?" We did. She showed it, and now that's basically the background photo of most of our stuff on our website. And that influencer, not a huge person, but big enough with a big following, really propelled our business into. That's when she showed the name sign in the nursery, I was able to stop flooring and do this full time. It has been our model. We haven't paid anything for advertising. Just sent free product and to these influencers. So, but at the end of the day, these are people don't realize you have to take that shot. These are regular people that love receiving free stuff. Especially if you are proud and have a quality product and they want to show it. And that's what we've always tried to kind of portray our business as. We are that. It's a name sign, but it's a Timberwood Designs name sign. And that's something different to be able to have that. So
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That brilliant strategy, first off, right? And I mean, that's insane that just one person was able to help generate enough business that you can do this full time and kind of follow your passion. So I guess so you and your wife have been involved in the business right from the start together?
Yep.
Or was it
yeah,
that-
she was my wife. She's a teacher, specialist in blind and deaf. She works for the Hamilton Catholic Board. Amazing. She was doing almost everything. The joke, but not real joke, was I just make things out of wood, and she built the business to pretty much where we're at right now. But that's a full-time job, and she loves it, and she's amazing at it. So when we did get to that level, and she said, "Yeah, let's do it for me full-time. I can do it," and I took on more of the roles as far as email and correspondence with customers and that stuff. But she is social media. Gets home from work and does our social media all night, in which it's been what's driven our business to where we are. And it's been really, she's very, very talented at that, which kind of, she's a huge reality TV star, fan. So, after that one influencer, she watches The Bachelorette. Reached out to one of the people on the show. They were pregnant after, ended up together, sent it to them. That was another level up. They're all in kind of a circle of influencers, reality. So now we've done, I think, 6 or 7 people who have been on the Bachelor show who have ended up having babies or still influencers. So that has really, really helped. And you really just have to, a lot of people say no. A lot of people don't answer back, but if you're not firing that email to them or their people, then you're not going to have that shot.
You're doing so many cool things, like just the story of your business, how started as, I guess, essentially it's kind of like you started as a side hustle, and I guess is probably the way to do it, and be able to become your full-time job. And now you're expanding it, but then you're also doing things like sales. Like when you're saying, obviously not everybody's going to say yes, right? I think a lot of people just message a few people, they get discouraged, right? But you, at the end of the day, that it's a sales is like like a contact sport, we call it. You just got to make a ton of contacts, right?
100%. Yeah. And now we've kind of had that turnover where you have to be focused on the quality of what you're putting out. At the end of the day, the product has to be awesome. So we've sent it out to the first people for their baby. And what I'm most proud of is when that order comes in, it says repeat customer. That is they trusted us for the first baby. We are now on, for some customers, their second, third baby. They have 3 of our signs, some 4. So it's an awesome feeling. There are days where a sale doesn't come in and it's like, oh man, are we still relevant? Are we doing the right thing? And then that order comes in and says, oh, they were just a day or a week away from knowing the gender or what they were naming, and they come back and it's like, no, we're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's like anything in business, right? The minute you have a little bit of quiet, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah. Oh, I'm lucky because I don't have to do it full time anymore, but I did have that 10, 12 years experience doing flooring, and I'm lucky enough my two older brothers have an amazing flooring store in Stony Creek, Rustic Woods. And they're busy, so I always have that in the back of my head if anything happened. But with a business like this, and once you make that leap, I don't want to say you burn the bridges, but you need to, even at those down times or slow times, no one else is going to believe in you. You have to believe in that business. And if you believe hard enough, you are going to, not that hope is a good strategy, but force yourself to find a way, see what and give them, everybody wants something. You just need to get it into that person's hand who has the most influence, who tells people what they want. And that's kind of what we angle for.
Mm-hmm. And that's like so a couple things. There's like basically the theory of like burn the boats is the one where, you say burn the bridges. And so you burn the boats, right? You have no way back, right? But I think at the start, knowing or thinking that, okay, I always have this backup, at least at the start, I feel is always very important for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Because that alone will just help you sleep at night.
Mhm.
Because the start can be really rocky, but the important thing is to not go to that backup, right? And that's, you didn't do it. And that's impressive.
It is tempting but like my wife, who's saved me a million times, she is a teacher. It's a great job. It's a great job for her family, provides a lot for us. And without that, maybe it would have been a lot harder to make that leap, because who knows, it's financially risky to start a small, how many fail?
Mhm.
A lot. We get a ton of recommendations from other businesses who did something very similar, and they're not there. We used to buy products from them. Can you do this? And we say yes a lot of the time, even if it's something we don't normally or offer on our website. We try to work with. It's a new customer, and you have to take care of as many people as you can, because you're hoping for that second and third sale, right? So no, I was lucky enough to not have to go back to that, but I'm also very lucky at what my wife does and her belief in the business too. So
No, it's worked out for you guys so far, right? And then
Yep.
the circle of reality stars, you guys try to get in with like what's the one that has like 20 kids or 15 kids? I don't know. That's the family called. I don't know, but I think they're under some heat right now.
The Moby Dick would be like, yeah, one of those octo mobs. Eight at
Get in with that
eight
reality.
eight at eight at once. That'd be great. Oh, we've done a few, like, I don't want to name any.
Yeah.
Look on the website. We have tons of social media, and we've worked with some interesting people. Some reality stars. Someone who was on Big Brother and lives in Portugal. We have a Brazilian singer who lives in Florida. You have to kind of go in as many directions as you can, because they are as big as our reality stars are. There are some in other parts that are mind-blowingly big.
Yeah.
Huge. So
Yeah, one of my neighbors is a Polish guy, but he has a friend that's I think he's Serbian, and we were whatever in his garage one day, and he has a TV in his garage, and this guy starts playing on this like Serbian singer or something, and it's just like a mega star or something like it is people we've never heard of.
Oh yeah,
That's what you're saying, like a Brazilian singer and stuff. Like people like that.
it's in White Orchid, the K-pop star. That's in the K-pop stars are just, we can't fathom how big they are. It's so much bigger than anything that we see here. But so something like that would be great too.
Not up there.
Yeah.
But no. And then I know we were talking a little bit before too, and I'm gonna bring it up just because Barry made a comment on a couple of my reels about how I like to talk about atomic habits.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that before.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying there's some stuff you implement from that book. Did you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, I know you mentioned the 1% rule.
Yeah. Well, this is, I guess, a little bit, a big part of it is just coming on here. Stretch. This is 2025. We've done our business and we've been a small business for 4 years. 2025 is, we're going to stretch and change and not say no to any opportunity, and maybe it's not going to work out, but like with sending something out to an influencer, you have to do it, as scary as it is. So yeah, with this year's, but it'd be fitness or I don't know why I looked at myself when
You know, folks.
just wake up early, trying to get just be more patient with the kids, get everything done early in the morning, eat better, put out better products at work, get everything done more efficiently, and just try and expand in all ways. That's but no, the Atomic Habit, I've listened to it on my Audible a bunch of times, and it just seems, while I'm working, it's just great to be working, hear kind of some, I don't know, affirmation, like you're just letting you know, hey, you're keep grinding, keep getting better, because it will pay off.
And it's just the act of doing the habit and slowly increasing. First off, I appreciate that you think coming on this podcast is, an upwards trajectory.
100%, 100%.
Which is great. And you're right. You got to get comfortable with stuff. Like my first time I ever did a video was, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And it was a real estate video. And it was like a 2-minute video, but I don't think I took a breath the whole time. I think I just, and then I just talked for 2 minutes, like really, you get so nervous and you get used to it. Right. And you just gotta do it.
Yep.
Right.
You're not gonna, I mean, I'm sure some people are born pretty good at stuff, but I'm not gonna, I'm seeing a video of myself, hearing the sound of my voice. I'm probably not even gonna watch this. I'm not gonna watch this.
Put on
like, you know what?
the views.
That's why when you said let's book this, I booked it out as far as I could. I'm like, I'm gonna practice in my camera and maybe change my voice to where it's something a bit more palatable.
I hate to tell you, but that's how you look and sound. How you show on camera.
Some people like it.
No, it's great. It's I get what you're saying, because I do a show on Cable 14, like a real estate show, and I have trouble watching those episodes. For some reason, I have trouble watching this, but on those episodes, I think because it's the difference, it's more formal. I have trouble watching myself on it.
Yeah.
And this I'm just more comfortable, I guess, because it's my studio, right? But you're right. When you watch yourself, it's a hard thing to do, but you almost have to, because then you learn how to improve and what you can change. I actually started shaving my head because of that. I didn't realize how bald I was until I saw it on camera, professionally lit, and I thought, what am I hanging on to?
So I shaved the hair and makeup production was light around here. Like cutbacks, like shave it.
That's it. Yeah. I thought, oh man, I actually said to the guy, is it the light? Could you light me differently? But no, unfortunately, that was
Sorry to tell you, but
you're bald.
you're bald. No, it's funny, but you have a lot more exposure being in front of the camera, how you sound, and you're in that business, you're selling your which we do a lot of. Our Instagram is, I would say, strong for what we've done, and we're not trained, or my wife does all the editing. We don't farm anything out, and she is amazing at that. Actually, last night one of our reels hit 8 million views, so that was a big one for us. So we'd like to grow that aspect, but I just need to, it's tough to get used to being on camera. Most of there's no sound. Tools are running all day. It's loud in the shop. So I'm just kind of a mime anyway, but I don't really, but I guess the more you do it, the easier it'll be. I just don't get a lot of, it's me, just me all day in the shop. No one else. So I don't really know what I look like, but, or sound like, but,
maybe
it's nice.
You'll get to the point you can bring somebody else on and then have a friend in the shop, and
that would be another 2025 goal. It's relinquishing the control is tough. We built it because not try to keep it small, but try to keep a level of quality that will keep us alive. So there are tons of, like I said, the businesses that are not a business anymore. Sadly, they scaled and they had 20 employees. Now it's back to just them, and that affected 20 or 19 employees. So I don't want to. I do want to do that. I do. I want to scale it up, but it's tough to. I would only do it in the right way where people who trust us for the first and second name sign or blocks or whatever they bought from us, they should expect the exact same quality. So
Yeah, and that's very true, right? Like that quality. Like I have a contractor that I use on my house for everything, and I always talk to him like he does everything himself, but he's the same thing. Like I don't because he does such a good job. Like this guy, he's not the cheapest, but his work is impeccable,
Mhm.
and he's the same thing. Like he doesn't want to risk losing that quality. And that's a difficult thing, I think, in any business, especially when you're the owner operator. I know it's my industry too. Like eventually I had to relinquish just because I couldn't keep up with
Right.
what was going on, but
Yeah.
B, I wanted to grow as well. Right. And what I found was you really have to find the right person. I found that being slower to take somebody on, like hire slow, fire quick, I think
Mhm.
is what they say. Um, I read that somewhere. Maybe I've seen it on a reel or something. But I found that was actually good advice because I had a couple people previously that didn't really work out, and then I had this person now that is like, don't
Amazing.
ever leave,
Yeah.
right?
Amazing. Yeah. I'm glad we don't fire quick because the dinner table would be awkward at just the two of us. I go, well, that was a rough day.
For sure. And I mean, but like even your wife's work ethic is amazing. The fact that she's working all day and then
Crazy.
counting the social media at
Yep.
night, like that's also key. And then you guys got small kids too, right?
Mhm.
So it's crazy. Like that you guys do this is just incredible.
I'm tired, man. No, I know what I could be doing. I know what I used to do. And while doing that, it was tough to have a good day. And like I said, when I walk in the shop, there are stressful days, there are hard days, machines are acting up, or the wood isn't how I want it, or I'm not happy with what I'm doing, but I've never had a bad day. I'm always happy. It's the best place every day to go into. So, and that's,
Amazing.
yeah, well, you can't complain about that. I know the other side. I did it for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
You're your own boss too. And with that too comes some, well, I don't know unless your wife's the boss, then, but you in the shop, it's your,
co-bosses,
yeah.
co-bosses.
It's,
It I am my own boss. I had this talk with my 8-year-old daughter last night. She said, "Wow, you are your own boss and you can do whatever." I said, "Every time an order comes in, I have a new boss." It's that, I'm answering, have to get something done up to a certain level for that person because, like, with your contractor, we are 100% not the cheapest. There are 1,000 options out there. Different materials, you can do it in a million different ways. We don't want to change what we do because we've had thousands of sales, and at 60 to 70% repeat customers, you, that's a good direction. So they could choose to get something else, but they're locked in. They know what they're going to get with us. So I want to keep providing that. So, but I do every single order we are super grateful for. We know how hard it is to earn a dollar these days. So if they're spending that much, not all, it's crazy amount, but it's a lot, and you're making an investment, and it's something that is going to be in a very important room. You had a very important life event happen. You had a baby, and now we're going to be a small part of that in the nursery. It's great. I'm thankful.
no, that's amazing. Like you have such an incredible mindset about it, and just it's really cool to see like what you're doing. But then seeing your thought process behind it, like it's no wonder that you guys are so successful at what you've been doing. Now, obviously your business probably has some challenges,
Hmm.
right? Like what are some of the challenges that you're facing right now?
There's a guy down south that might want to make things a little.
It's the air in like a month, so we don't even know where that's gonna be
Okay.
at. But
Okay.
outside of the tariff, like,
Right.
that we're outside of that.
I will quickly say, even with that threat, we've been lucky enough that it hasn't. Our American customers, I think, are putting what's important to them first, and they're still reaching out and still buying from us. So, and that is unbelievable because we don't want to have any part of that. We still want to be, like I said, we're there to support and provide something special for something special in your life, and that's what it should always be about. The politics and tariffs and that stuff is a separate thing, and those people are doing that for a different reason. So we don't, doesn't matter to us. We want to be the good memory in what's going on in your life, and that's, which is great. Challenges, I'd say the biggest one starting out, biggest thing to figure out, other than obviously the machines and designing and everything, just shipping. Shipping has been the big learning curve. 100%. We were, when we started out in the garage and our first sales came in, we were phoning friends and family and saying, save your Amazon boxes and your bubble wrap. And we were figuring out how to package these solid, they're wood, it's not metal, it's going to break in the mill. And which is really, really tough. You're learning how to do it, so everything's taking longer in the beginning. And if we were shipping out, say, 10 names a week, 3 or 4 would break in the mail, and we're like, we're not doing this right, remaking those, and then the next orders are coming in. You're trying to keep these people happy and just trying to explain, hey, we're starting out, thank you so much. And 99.9% of the customers are understanding. That's probably why they're buying from small business in the first place, because they have that great mindset. They don't want to, they could buy from a big business, but that was just dealing with box companies, learning about strength of boxes, how to package. Not a lot of people are doing this, and all the different shipping companies. There was tons to figure out. We've used 5 different shipping companies. We're probably on our 10 or 12th version of how we package now, which we're hopefully pretty good. Now our breakage rate is now, for if we send 10 a week, so 40 a month or whatever, just as an example, maybe 1 every 3 months is breaks in the mail. But you can't control how those guys in whatever company are booting your package. We've had some pictures that, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did they back over with the truck? You're wondering, eh? Like it's
Oh, there is some nasty stuff going, but it's also incredible to know that we're putting something in the mail here and you're rushing, like it's getting, we said stuff gets to Australia in like 3 days, and it's like, I don't even know if I could get myself there in 3 days if I had $1 million. But so shipping was the toughest thing to learn how to do right and to keep that breakage down. So, because it's not always guaranteed, even if you have insurance on the packages, it's definitely not guaranteed that you're going to get reimbursed. So that's the profit from that name. That's the cost of resetting it and remaking it, and time. Time is the tough one to just have to be as efficient as possible.
So it sounds like, see, and this is another thing, like the people don't understand when it comes to businesses, and this is your 1% rule, like in effect, is when you're saying you run your 5th different, was it shipping company or the shipping company? Yeah, you've gone through how many boxing companies, and then like I bet when you started cutting these signs and you first sent that message to the influencer and the went out, I'm sure the last thing on your mind was the strength of boxes, right? But it's just
Oh,
like
I wish I had a picture of what that looked like. It was, now if we ship a single name, it's in a 3-inch by 30-inch. That first one to that one, I rewrapped 15 times. It was in about 10 inches of bubble wrap, and I was just distraught, following the tracking until it got to her house, and then she unwrapped and said she loved it. I'm like, oh my God.
they
No. Oh.
But it's almost like at the start, sometimes I think when you're new in something, the ignorance is almost bliss, because I think sometimes if people knew what they had to do or what they were going to go through,
Mhm.
you almost might have more hesitation to even do it. And
Yep.
I think it stops a lot of people because, like what the people say, like the ready, aim, fire, like the, or what, I'm gonna go with a better analogy.
I know what you're saying.
More, but
Yep.
yeah, I use ready, fire, aim. But the other analogy that I use is like imperfect action is better than perfect action, right?
100%.
So people
Yep.
always think that like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this as a company, I need to look into boxes. Then they spend months like researching boxes, researching this, researching that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't actually just make a product and just
There are a lot of not so intelligent million billionaires out there. They just they they're just started. You have to start, and I'm like that. I'm a classic overthinker, and I've that's the biggest thing that I've gone over. There's there's a million different ways that your business could go, and a million people have a million. Every time someone comes in the shop, you know what you should be making? And I said, I said, yep. Do you know how long it would take to actually execute that? And we've gone this 4 years to learn how to package, design, make, get it down to where people are happy. It took 4 years to do this. I'm like, new ideas are amazing to like supplement. And then if that goes in that direction, we can do that. But it's tough to, you don't want to go in too many different directions in that way. But you just have to start. You're right. You're imperfect action. You have to just get going. Because if you're sitting there, it's not gonna present itself to you.
yeah, you just got to go through it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's cool too, like knowing, like, especially now at the start, like when you think back, all these people like getting these signs, it's you actually packaging it right now. Like that's pretty cool. And I see why that's why, like from the sounds of it, it could be difficult for you, like on the scale side, to
Yep.
relinquish that because
Yep.
obviously you take a lot of pride and care
Mhm.
in how these signs are packaged and how they're being delivered.
100%. That's probably the biggest hurdle to scaling. Is like if there's a order that comes in, I don't see the order first. I see the person who ordered it, and 9 times out of 10, I'll look at the name and I'll know if they ordered 2.5 years ago. I'll recognize that name and I'll say, oh, and then I look. Then it'll be repeat order. But when it comes in, I'm spending essentially a week working on something for that individual. There's a lot, but they're all important, and it is. So when someone says, "Hey, something happened, this or that," I'm like, I know. I was the person. I went to the mill, I milled the lumber, I made that, I packaged it. I know almost everything, and that's, I guess, why we are lucky enough not to have. I mean, in 4 years, I remember one in the first year was our first email from a customer saying they expected more or wouldn't be. She said it wouldn't be sold in a high-end shop. And but we've had 4,000 five-star reviews and emails and thanking and repeat customers, but it's funny. I'm that person that dwells on that one, and I will always use that to motivate and say, "Look at us now."
Yeah.
But it's like, "Do you want to reorder?"
Yeah.
And just like it's probably not everyone else thinking something. It's probably that one person, and you deal with. We're in a business where people are 8 months pregnant and not always the happiest people. So, but it's still we're s- we're just grateful. We're grateful they chose us, and we're always happy. It's awesome. We love hearing how happy they are that they're happy with our product.
That's amazing. And it's such, and I don't think you're alone in being that, you get that one person that says something. You're not alone in that. I think that's just human nature. Everybody hears that one negative comment or that one thing. And then you think about it and you're like, oh, and it drives you nuts.
Yep.
Right. But it's good that you're using it as a motivation. And like you said, you have the 4 or 5,000 incredibly happy people.
Mhm.
You can't please anybody. I think the only way that you're pleasing everybody is you're just not large enough.
Mhm.
Right. Like, cause eventually you're
Yep.
going to get to that point where, um, you can't, you just physically can't and be operating at that scale.
Yeah. The other thing we deal with is people reach out. Hey, I'd like to get this done. Sure. Look on our website. Oh, your turnaround time is sometimes 3 to 5 weeks. I could order this from Temu and have it this afternoon. And I said, yes, 100%. I'm not able to physically do everything I need to do to deliver one of our products to you. And please do that. If that is going to make you happy, which totally, that's awesome. Like if that's what you're going for, we've got a lot of people. We're lucky enough to have customers that are like, yeah, I totally understand what goes into what you're going to send to me. That's why you're at that price point, and just order a month and a half before your baby comes and you'll be okay. But I have to let, and you deal with every type of person too. And not everyone's going to be on the same kind of level. So it's just fine. Once in a while we'll get a email and we make birth announcement plaques, right? Baby gets born and says the name, and someone will email and say, hey, I got this. I was expecting it to be a little different, yada, yada. We're like, something like that. No problem. If you're not happy, we're sending you a new one. I'm going to make it today. Okay. Yep. Just on the new one, it's just going to have this name instead. So they'll change it. I'm like, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Jack is no longer Jack.
That's
Which, like, we laugh, and that's funny. Sarah and I laugh at stuff like that, and I'm like, okay,
yeah. You're gonna deal with
that's okay.
interesting-
That's okay. That's okay. Come back for another order, and like you can have this. Everyone gets a redo if they change the name.
Yeah. No,
Well, not everybody.
not everybody. But we can get that part out.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's I said you do deal with interesting people, right, all the time. So, and like you said, you're dealing with somebody like it's a huge life event, so I could see how people can get stressed about it. What's part of this business that you love? What's something that's your favorite part about it?
That it is completely different to what I used to do. In the way that I have to, an order will come in. Well, I'm in the shop making something, but I'm also setting up cameras like you and microphones, and I'm getting angles of, so I've got some production work I have to do. I'm working on the CNC machines. I'm designing them, emailing back customers, keeping orders. And I'm the shipping department. I'm the HR department. I'm just, you have to do a million different things, and that's awesome. You're not repetitive labor intensive job, just going in, zombie, blah, 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 just kind of working for someone else that doesn't care, is trying to get a house closed and customers the last. This is 100% customer oriented business. And I love that. Most of the people that email and say how happy they are, they're so happy that we get to be in their nursery. It a lot of times grows when they change the room. They're keeping that names. And now with my wife says from baby to big girl or big boy rooms, they change that, and we're still up there. So it's products and our shelves, or we can grow with the kid as they go through a few different stages. So it's an awesome. I mean, it's great. It's different. I get to be creative. I also get to use the tools and deal with hardwoods that I have always, and that's what I love about it. Just the product that I'm working with. I get to do that every day and be creative, and I don't know. I'm working for myself, my wife, my family, and trying to grow this together, and not breaking my back to make someone else their next million, I guess. That's what I like. It's shown me that there's a lot of people when you're stuck in that kind of construction world, or there's a lot of people pressuring you to have you believe that's all you're capable of doing. And making this leap and doing this, and 4 years later, I can do anything. My wife and I team up. It's nothing, I don't know, it's cheesy. Nothing's impossible. You're capable of doing anything. You just have to figure out how to execute, and that's it.
Yeah, you have to have the passion for it.
Yep.
So really good answer. Like I said, again, I love your mindset. I feel like I want to talk to you for like 3 hours, but
I gotta go, man.
you got to go make some stuff.
There are orders that are just, hey, that's why I'm out of the Temu time. We're just podcasting. Get back on the orders.
That's it. And So, like you said, nothing's impossible, and that's so true, right? When you're really passionate about something, you find a way to do it. And a
Mhm.
lot of the people that are successful, they just find a way to do it,
Yep.
and you do it. And part of it, I think, I can go back to Atomic Habits, Barry,
Yeah.
was the because you know Barry too. That's why I keep bringing
I
it up.
I do, yeah, he hooked this up.
Yeah,
Thank you, Barry. He's best trainer in the city.
there you go. We got to drop that. We're gonna cut a clip for that for Barry.
Best
Yeah.
guru.
But he, when you start doing something, you start seeing how much you can do, and just by increasing 1%, like
Mhm.
when you look back, which is going to lead to my next question, if you had to go back and tell little Josh something
Mhm.
at the start of all this, day one, what advice would you give him?
Ooh, that's the toughest question. Um, yeah, don't there are going to be slow times. Keep pushing. There just keep pushing. It is going to you'll find a way through, and it's going to work, and you have to believe that because there have been 4 years. There have been 3 4-day stretches with no sales, and it's just like hair on fire. What's going on? Hide the stress. Don't show Sarah you're freaking out. What's gonna happen? But then the next day, 5, 6, 7, it's just turn that turn that corner. It's right there. We're dealing with people that are having one baby every year and a half, 2 years, hopefully, and then they come back every 2 years. So we've built that base. We're on the second and it's rolling, and new customers are amazing because hopefully they're gonna be customers again. But I would say, maybe I don't wanna say I'd tell myself, "Don't spend that much time doing something you don't love doing," because this had to happen at the time it had to happen. My wife loves her job. It allowed me to make this leap. I wouldn't be able to do that. The last job allowed me to have the kids, have the house, get to this point. So it happened at the right time. But if you're not happy and you have a good idea, man, just bust your back going after it. And you can do it. You can do it.
I like that you laughed when you said back because I think was
Well, I was
right.
thinking,
Instructions not to swear.
yeah.
Um,
We're in the nursery business.
that's it. No, it's very true. Very good. PG. But that's incredible advice, right? And it's never the right time to do anything.
No.
Like I hate no, well, like a house, your house could burn down tomorrow, right? Like you could have a life event happen.
Yep.
The timing is never going to be right to do something. But like you said, you may as well, if you're going to spend your time, don't spend it doing something you don't like doing. Go and spend it doing something you can do. And
Mhm.
and I'm a huge believer, A, in manifestation, but B, also everything happens for a reason and everything happens at the time it's supposed to happen, right? Like
Mhm.
obviously I have parts of my business that I wish I did this sooner, but then I'm like, I don't think I could have though. Like I needed to go through what I went through
Oh, yeah.
in order to get to the point that I'm at now,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's great advice.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not this is the most I've spoken to a person in 4 years. Like I said, it's just me in the shop, but this is great. I
No,
got some nuggets of wisdom.
again, lots of nuggets of wisdom. I love this. Like, you don't have too many clips from this episode. All right.
Mm.
I feel like we could
Very
get a quote off me and you at the end, just 2 minutes of inspirational quotes.
Very good.
But I know you got to get back to the shop, and
Yep.
I'm all out of questions. So
Awesome.
I do really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and do
Man, it
this.
is my pleasure. This has been awesome. It's not as hard as, like you said, relax. It'll be okay. I was that nervous coming in, but hopefully someone gains something from it, and it's not too boring.
I know it's not boring. I think they will. This has been a super impactful episode. So
Fantastic.
thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in again this week. If you liked what you heard today, you can click the video. It's going to pop up on your screen. It is last week's episode. I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, take care.